Hey, what's going on, everyone? I was going to start this at 7:45, but I decided to start this a little bit earlier. So, if I start early, maybe I could finish early. I don't know if my co-pilot is going to join me tonight. I sent him the stream last night. He didn't say anything, and normally he's right there in the chat. So let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. Okay, there is the red live icon. So we are live. Yeah, guys, last week was kind of weird. I, needed some rest. And yeah, sometimes after commuting to the office to downtown DC, and when it's a sweltering and oppressive heat, sometimes you don't have enough energy left when you get home at night to do a live stream. Let me just announce this on one of my other channels, and then I'll play the intro, and then we'll jump in. I'm going to talk about the offensive line tonight. I'm going to talk about a bunch of different things tonight, but I'm going to center this on the offensive line. One of our resident Buckeyes is here. He says, good evening, everyone. The Wolverines are recruiting strong on the line, preparing for a co. Abdul Gaines, I don't know what a co is, but you are a hardcore sports fan, so I trust that you know what a co is. Let's see. Everybody, please smash that like button if you see fit. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. I hope everybody's having a good week leading up to the 4th of July. I'm happy to have another week, another 4-day week. And I'm looking forward to seeing some fireworks on Friday night and having another long weekend. All right, everybody, you know what time it is. Let's go blue. Oh, speaking of the Scarlet and Gray, Abdul Gain says Wolverines are recruiting strongly on the line, preparing for a competitive loss to the Scarlet and Gray. That's right, Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith he's going Jim Tressel on us, and he has made a prediction. He has dug his heels in and drawn his line in the sand. He says, we're not losing to Michigan. For the next 2 years I'm here, we're not losing to Michigan. So with that, let's start with the Ryan Day drop in honor of Jeremiah Smith. Now, this was pre-Jeremiah Smith, but those are fighting words. That's chalkboard material. So a quick word from Ryan Day for Jeremiah Smith's tough take.
This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
The snowman is live. Well, he's here in the chat right now. Snowman has his own show, so he's probably gonna run off and cover Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. So welcome, Snowman. Thank you for gracing my chat. All right, everybody, let's go blue. Then I'll jump in, and if folks come through there in the chat, I'll drop the link if someone wants to come up and say something. Again, I don't see my co-pilot here, so maybe he's encumbered somewhere in northern Ohio. All right, let's go blue. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. If you are subscribed here, then I don't need to introduce myself, but in case some new people come through, that's who I am. I am a Michigan alum. I am a proud Michigan alum, and I am a supporter of our sports programs, most notably in this instance, our Michigan football Wolverines. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about the offensive line and how Michigan seems to be reloading in the trenches. Okay, and it's funny. Okay, I was waiting for my camera there to focus. Last week I got started. Somehow the algorithm sent me the 2001 game. That was Jim Tressel's first victory over Lloyd Carr's Wolverines. That was 2001. That was the year after one Drew Henson declared for the Major League Baseball draft. He got drafted by the Yankees and he was gone. David Terrell for I want to say forgone, but David Terrell opted for the NFL draft, got drafted by the Bears. The A-Train, Anthony Thomas, he graduated. Jeff Backus graduated. Steve Hutchinson graduated. So that 2001 season, Michigan was competitive that season. The defense was competitive, but the offense took steps backward. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's very similar to Team 145. Team 145, the defense was still loaded, okay, but the offense took steps backward. Now, Davis Warren gets the credit for that step backward, okay, but the other big step backward was the offensive line. Okay, so we lost Zach Zinter and Trevor Keegan and Carson Barnhart and Trente Jones and Ladarius Henderson. We lost a lot of veteran talent on that offensive line. And I was thinking, as I was watching that 2001 game, and that was a winnable game. Shout out to Ashwin. Ashwin usually comments on my content sometime overnight. I wake up and he's left a comment, and he always comments. So salute to Ashwin. But he commented in there too, and that was a winnable game. Jonathan Wells gashed the Michigan defense in the first half of that game. Craig Krenzel, that was his coming out party. And all the pieces were there except for Maurice Claret for their national title run the next season. But most of Ohio State's production came in that first half. But the problem was John Navarre and that offense. They were blowing farts for most of that first half, and even into that second half. And John Navarre was throwing interceptions, and the offensive line was not opening up running holes for BJ Askew. BJ Askew wasn't a very explosive running back. And so what I'm saying is that when the Michigan football program is great, when it's good, when the team is winning, usually the heartbeat of that team is the offensive line. Okay. That's usually the hallmark of a winning Michigan football team and a championship contender. Okay. you know, we all remember this. Okay, in 2016. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong picture. I'm going to come back to that overlay. We all remember this in 2016. Okay, that I think that's I don't think that's the JT Barrett first down play. I think that's something else. I think that's uh, what's the kid's name? The running back. I can't remember the running backs. That's either Wilton Spate leaning in for a touchdown, or it's the running back. I can't remember the kid's name. It was Davion something. But I think the problem with that team, you had a quarterback, you had two wide receivers, you had Jake Butt, you had a serviceable running back there, but they didn't have a nice, firm, strong offensive line that could get those first downs late in the fourth quarter. That can move the chains late in that fourth quarter. That's what that 2016 team was missing, and that's why they lost that game late in Iowa City. That's why Wilton Spate broke his collarbone, and that's why they couldn't put Ohio away down at the Snake Pit, and that's what put Ohio in position for that JT Barrett, that controversial JT Barrett first down. That broke all of our hearts. Now, fast forward to 2021, Abdul Gaines was saying Michigan quit during the COVID year. We had a lot of positives, Abdul Gaines. What brought the program back was the offensive line play. Okay, and we really saw that emerge against Ohio. Okay, and we had a mediocre quarterback in Cade McNamara. Okay, we all know JJ beat him for the job the next season, and you know he went on to lead the Wolverines to the playoffs, and we had the heartbreaking loss against TCU, and then the next year the Wolverines rebounded and went 13-0 and defeated Bama and Washington to win the Natty. So we had our phenom quarterback. But what really solidified those three teams in 2021, 2022, and 2023 was the offensive line. That element came back. And we also, and Jim also got some defensive coordinators on loan from his brother John, and they instituted that Baltimore Ravens defense. So things came together. But my point is, whenever Michigan has been good, the offensive line has been good. Okay, and I think that's something that, in addition to Bryce Underwood stepping in and giving us stellar quarterback play this season, I think we're all expecting that the offensive line is going to have a much better year than it had last season. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Again, I have a few talking points, and if someone wants to come up when I'm done, I'll drop the link. If not, then I'll just shut it off. I don't see my co-pilot here tonight, so he must be encumbered with something else in northern Ohio. Speaking of Ohio, let's get a word from one Brady Hoke about Ohio before I jump into my talking points.
But I was not a fan of that university in Ohio because my buddies were, so I had to be different.
We'll get one more word from Brady.
We understand what Michigan football means and what Michigan football is. We will always be about the team at Michigan. This is never going to be about Brady Hoke.
All right. So, yeah, and then one of the weaknesses in Brady Hoke's teams were his players, particularly his offensive linemen, seemed to get weaker as the season went on. So I think his defensive lines were good, but his offensive lines they weren't very stout and strong and nasty and conditioned. So anyway, please smash that like button. Marmar, he's not here, but last week I just so happened to be thinking about offensive lines, and I was watching a lot of videos on pin and pull, because I want to give more analysis this year, like Johnny Olden, as opposed to just giving the high level stuff. I want to understand better the concepts. And Kenneth, thank you for stopping through. Go Blue, thank you for being here. And so I was watching a lot of pin and pull videos last week, and a lot of offensive line videos. And me and Marmar, we must have had some sort of synergy going on, some sort of telekinesis from DC to Ohio, because he sent me this. So we know that we have Bryce Underwood coming in. We know that Chip Lindsey has taken over the offense in terms of coordination. But there's another key addition to the Michigan coaching staff on the offensive side, and that is Juan Castillo, who it seems was in the program earlier on. He was here under Jimmy, as the Michigan State fans like to call him, Jimmy Snake Oil or Harblow or whatever. But Marmar sent me this. Shout out to Marmar. I hope you're good wherever you are. Guys, I'm not going to read this verbatim. You guys don't want to hear me read. I've been reading all day from my good government job. But this is entitled, hold on a second. All right. We're supposed to be the badasses, Juan Castillo, helping Michigan offensive line get its swagger back. So again, guys, Davis Warren, okay, he helped, despite that pick he threw to Jack Sawyer in the end zone as Michigan was knocking on the door. Davis Warren led us to that victory over Ohio. And the struggles the offense experienced last season were not only due to Kurt Campbell and Davis, but also the offensive line took a step backward. We had two capable running backs, but the offensive line, those were all new guys getting in there, like Giovanni Elhadi and Evan Link. And it takes time for an offensive line to form chemistry. It takes time for an offensive line to gel. It takes time for an offensive line to click, like Trevor Keegan and Drake Nugent and Zach Zinter and Carson Barnhart and all those guys did. It takes time, and we saw a lot of growing pains last season. So Grant Newsome is still in charge of the offensive line, but Sharon has brought in Juan Castillo to help out with the line. So I'm not going to read this, guys. This is below in the description box in case any of you guys are readers. But he's a veteran guy. He's made his rounds in the NCAA in the college level, and then also in the NFL there. He's wearing a Chicago Bears shirt. But I'm going to read something, one paragraph, and I'm going to, these two actually, and then I'm going to move on to looking at the depth chart. And then we're going to take a quick sprint through my Twitter bookmarks, because Michigan has been on a tear recently in terms of signing kids. And a lot of the kids they've been signing have been offensive linemen and defensive linemen. And one of the tenets, I think that's the right word, one of the accepted laws of football is that the game will be won in the trenches. Okay, they say that. I remember Chris Berman and whomever else saying that before every Super Bowl, the game will be won in the trenches. You could have the best quarterback, the best skill position players, highly talented running backs, but you need to win in the trenches. And Michigan football is known for imposing itself at the line of scrimmage and moving the chains late in the fourth quarter. All right. So these two paragraphs, I'm just going to read these. This is quoting Juan Castillo. Offensive linemen by nature are not as athletic as defensive linemen, Castillo said before receiving some lighthearted pushback from Jansen, a former U of M All-American and national champion on the offensive line. Usually, if you're athletic, you end up being on defense to a certain extent. John Jansen, I think he got drafted, and he played here for a little bit for the then Washington Redskins. And then Castillo says, that's why I always used to tell my guys, look, think about this. Who are the toughest? Who are the strongest? Who are the smartest? And who works the hardest? and the guys will say, "We do, coach. We're going to kick the shit out of the defense. That's the way it's going to be." I said, "Look at that." I'm going to read one more thing here, a quote from Giovanni El-Hadi, because I remember one particular play. It might have been against USC. It might have been against Fresno State, but Giovanni El-Hadi, it was a pass play. And for some reason, Giovanni El-Hadi slid to the right when he shouldn't have, and he allowed a defender to come back there and take Davis Warren to the turf. So he made his share of mistakes last season early on, but the whole line did, and then they got better as the season went on. Giovanni El-Hadi says, "I think about it for." Is that Giovanni El-Hadi or is it Juan Castillo? "I think about it for offensive linemen. We're stronger, we work harder, we're smarter, we're supposed to be the badasses." Michigan graduate guard Giovanni El-Hadi said this spring that Castillo has added a lot of value for the offensive line. El-Hadi was a backup and spot starter on offensive lines that won the Joe Moore Award in 2021 and 2022 and the national championship in 2023. And he's intent on getting the group back to playing at that level this fall. We're going to be nasty," El-Hadi said. "We're going to impose our will like we know we can. We're not going to take no, I can't cuss, but we're not going to take no anything from any team. We're not going to worry about anything but doing our jobs and doing it until the whistle blows." That's below in the description, I'm sorry, let me slow down. It's the wine talking. That's below in the description box in case any of you guys want to read it. Thank you to Mar for sharing that with me, and I hope you're good wherever you are. Kenneth Joy says, "I want us to beat Ohio State again, so Jeremiah Smith will be more upset and leave." Abdul Gaines, do you hear that? Can Michigan go 5 in a row against Ohio? And they say that that's what turned the series. Okay, Ryan Day got away from what Urban Meyer built. Actually, somebody created a video, an AI, I think it was an AI video last year, maybe 2 years ago, of what Urban Meyer playing college football, whatever year that was, and then Ryan Day coming and sitting down and Urban passing him the control pad, and then they showed a bus driving off a cliff and crashing into the rocks below. So they say that's when it turned, is that Ryan Day made it a more finesse program at Ohio State, just as Jim Harbaugh figured out that he needs to get back to the Bo Schembechler style of football, which featured a physical offensive line. And speaking of which, let's get a word from Lou Holtz before we look at the depth chart.
He has lost to Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Michigan twice, and everybody that beats him does so because they're more physical than Ohio State. And I think Notre Dame will take that same approach.
Unfortunately, because of some late game miscalculations by Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame lost that game. And Lou Holtz didn't get to do his victory dance. And Ryan Day was empowered to come on camera and say this.
I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe.
Coach Antoine is in the chat. Salute to Coach Antoine, the advocate of the run pass option. Coach Antoine says, "Hey, Doc, I think Juan Castillo is the de facto real coach and I think Grant is the figurehead." Okay. Well, Castillo, I mean, by virtue of his age, he's more experienced. So, whoever whips that offensive line into shape I don't care as long as they do it. And we're back to pass protecting and blowing defenses off the line of scrimmage like we used to. So, okay, let's take a quick look at the depth chart. I looked this up earlier, and this is from June, so this is recent. This is the predicted depth chart. I'm going to focus on the offensive line. We have another comment there from Abdul Gaines. This is the depth chart and this is from MGO Fish recruiting coverage. There's a picture of Sharon. We still don't have a solid word from the NCAA about what's going to happen. We know Sharon's going to miss 2 games due to a self-imposed thing this season. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the offensive line here. All right, so the projected starters on the offensive line at left tackle, Evan Link. At left guard, Giovanni El Hadi. So he's going to be doing a lot of pulling. The Crippen kid, he's predicted to start at center. Efobi, he's going to start at right. He's projected to start at right guard. And Andrew Sprague is predicted to start at right tackle. Let me look this up really quickly because I don't. Yeah, Andrew Sprague. I'm just fact checking myself. All right. Yeah, and so this is showing all the backups there. But let's see. So yeah, so our center and El Hadi, those are going to be graduate. They're graduate students, or they're graduate level, and then Efobi and Evan Link, they're sophomores, and then Andrew Sprague, he is a redshirt freshman. Okay. I'm not going to read the second and third stringers there. On the defensive line, I'm going to go over the defensive line. I talked about the offensive line because as I go through my Twitter bookmarks, Michigan has been reloading on the defensive line. So that's going to be critical going forward, not only for talent, but also depth. And in that national championship season, that was one of the keys to what the Wolverines did, in that they could rotate players in and out, and they could rotate fresh bodies in and out. And most championship defenses, that seems to be a key, and that's having depth at that defensive line position. That was part of the formula of the Jimmy Johnson Dallas Cowboys back in the day. Abdul Gaines says, I appreciate the comments here, guys. Let's see. Coach Antoine says, I look at Juan as the concierge. Abdul Gaines says, and Ryan Day beat Holtz's former team's ass in their building and in the Natty. Holtz needs to be quiet like Feinbaum. Coach Antoine says, and I also think the same thing with Soup and Bellamy. Yeah, Ronald Bellamy has quite a few critics. I know the great Johnny Olden is not a fan of Ronald Bellamy, but it looks like he's gotten some recruits. They just signed we'll talk about who he signed, who the program signed. So they got a big acquisition there at wide receiver. So our starting defensive linemen are the Payne kid, Williams, Rayshawn Benny, let's see, Derek Moore, and TJ Guy. So that's going to be your starting. Some mix of that. Those are going to be your starting defensive linemen. And I'm not going to read the second stringers and the third stringers there. But yeah, experience on that defensive side. And we should have a more seasoned offensive line going into this season, protecting Bryce Underwood and also opening holes for Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall. Coach Antoine says, I appreciate the commentary here, guys. He says, I don't know if you've noticed this from recruiting, but Michigan is gobbling up all offensive tackles, and if they don't quite pan out, they moved them to guard. Smart move by Michigan. Yep. Speaking of which, Coach Antoine, let's take a look at all of the players that Michigan has been signing, because they've been signing quite a few. They've been reloading. Okay, so I follow quite a few guys on X, James Yoder, Don Thomas, Steve Dace. I follow quite a few guys. So I just bookmarked a bunch of different things here, but a whole bunch of these bookmarks are kids that the Wolverines have signed. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you are not subscribed. All right. Okay, speaking of pin and pull. This is, you have a lot of old clips floating around there on X. All right, and let's take a look at what's here. All right. Now, I've bookmarked a lot of stuff, but we're going to focus on the Michigan stuff. All right. Let's see. Okay, this was Abdul. This was game day last November. This reads, don't let them try to tell you the game doesn't matter because of the playoffs now, or that they don't know their trophy is a Mickey Mouse trophy. Here's evidence to that right here. You know what? I would play this, but I don't want to strike. This is Ohio State fans questioning the validity of their title because they did not beat the team up north. Abdul Gaines, is your title valid because you didn't beat the team up north because you didn't win the Big Ten? Is your natty valid? Does it mean as much as ours? Abdul Gaines says, Anwar, you need to take more credit for retiring Saban. I retired Coach K, and I still revel greatly in that. Shout out to Moose. Moose is here. He says it's happening. I feel like we getting Hitter and Russell. Okay, go blue. All right, I'm not going to play that. I don't want to strike. I'm trying to keep my monetization. All right, so we're going to skip past that. There's Denzel Washington and his lovely wife, Pauletta. All right, so this is from Hayes Fawcett, breaking 4-star offensive tackle Marquis Walbridge has committed to Michigan. He tells me for On3 Recruits, the 6'6", 270-pound offensive tackle from Needham, Massachusetts, chose the Wolverines over Alabama and Penn State. All right. And I bookmarked a ton of these. 6'6", 270 pounds. Uh-oh. All right, hold on, guys. Chrome is glitching. Hold on. When my spinning circle disappears, I will continue to walk you through my bookmark feed here. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's Marquis Walbridge. Okay, so Steve Dace, I'll just read this. This is from Steve Dace. This is relating to Ohio. He says, from former Buckeye Bobby Carpenter, I went to 12 or 13 practices, and I couldn't tell you who our starting quarterback will be. It was that close between Julian and Lincoln. Some days they were great, and some days Ryan Day probably wondered why he recruited them. Okay, so they are Ohio State is expecting not to miss a beat after Will Howard has gone to the NFL. Okay, so this is from Luke DeMello. Michigan is hammering away the importance of offensive and defensive line play. The 2025 class. So at offensive line, Andrew Babaloa, Ty Haywood, Avery Gatch, Caden Strayhorn. Those are all offensive linemen. On the defensive line, Bobby Kenka, Benny Patterson, Nathan Marshall, Travis Moten, and Julius Holly. I think I have some more measurables for these kids as I go up here. Okay, there's John Wall doing the Dougie. It's a fitness tip. There's Ryan Mallett and Lloyd Carr back in the day. Ryan Mallett passed away. Okay, so here's another one. Breaking. 4-star offensive tackle Malachi Lee is committed to Michigan. He tells me on 3 recruits, the 6'7", 320-pound offensive tackle from Kanohi, Hawaii. Yeah, that's Hawaii. Chose the Wolverines over Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. Abdul Gaines, how do you like that? 6'7", 320 pounds. That's like one of those old Dallas Cowboy, one of those old Jimmy Johnson Dallas Cowboy offensive linemen, like Eric Williams. Coach Antoine says Ohio State's trench recruiting is suffering like I predicted it was going to do a few years ago. All right. That's good. There's the suffering. We're just reloading. Oh, here's my favorite, one of my favorite plays ever. When JJ made that throw.
Johnson spread it. Touchdown Michigan.
I want a copyright strike. When JJ made this throw to Cornelius Johnson in 2022, I knew we could win the game. I knew Michigan wasn't afraid of being down there in the snake pit. And yeah, when JJ made this throw to Cornelius and Cornelius turned it upfield, I knew we could win that game. Let's just take another quick look at this. All right, there he is spinning away, number 26. Didn't make the tackle, and Cornelius made him pay. Get goosebumps just watching this. That's right, Moose. They did say that. They said the kid couldn't throw the deep ball. And Jim Knowles messed around and played that zero coverage on the next play. And Cornelius burned them again. Oh, memories. I get goosebumps. There's Amy Comey Barrett. We're not talking politics here. All right. Breaking 4-edge. Julian Walker has committed to Michigan football. 4-star edge. 4-star edge. Julian Walker committed. Doesn't say where the kid is from, but he is committed. All right. That's from Swanky Wolverine. Oh, here we go, guys. We have a Jim Tressel-esque. We have a Jim Tressel-esque prediction / guarantee here. Dom is here. Okay, Dom and Keegan, I'll drop the link. Marmar's not here, so if you guys want to come up and put your 2 cents in on any of this, then I'll drop the link for a little bit. I'm at 39 minutes. I'll hang out for another 20, 25. But we have another Jim Tressel-esque prediction here, or declaration. Jeremiah Smith says, I just hate them, parentheses, Michigan, for the next 2 years. I promise you, I will not lose to them. Okay, so Jeremiah Smith is calling his shot. He's making 2 guarantees there for Ohio to defeat our Wolverines. So we have a Jim Tressel-esque prediction there. So he's called his shot. All right. Let's see. This is Mikey saying
Travion Henderson gets.
You have to take a look at this. This is Mikey Samer still reminding Travion Henderson what day it is. And shout out to Kyle McCord for having a good for salvaging his career at Syracuse. All right, let's keep going. This is Jordan Marshall against Bama.
Marshall again, nice run. Marshall
in the ReliQuest Bowl. So this is some of what we're going to see this season. That's Jordan Marshall. And again, a lot of Michigan starters were out for that game, and Wolverines did not miss a beat. All right, so that's a preview of what we're going to see from our backfield. All right, let's see. Okay, that's Makari Page laying a hit on one of the Buckeyes last season. Okay, this is the Mario Manningham. This is 20 years old. This is the Mario Manningham catch.
fires to the end.
To beat Penn State in 20. Was that 2000? 2005. Guys, if Michigan is playing Michigan's playing Penn State in a big game like this, and USC is playing Notre Dame later on that night, and your girlfriend wants to drive to Chicago, tell her drive to Chicago by yourself. On the day this game came on, and the USC Notre Dame game came on, the woman I was dating at the time decided she wanted to drive to Chicago that day. So I missed this game, and I missed the USC Notre Dame game. So I heard about this afterward. All right. Here we have another one. I'm home. 4-star safety Andre Clark has committed to Michigan. He tells me for On3 recruits. The 6'1", 185-pound safety from Richmond, Virginia. Oh, he's just down the road. Chose the Wolverines over Kentucky, Florida State, and SMU. All right. I think I have a few more here, guys. I was just bookmarking these things. Here's that Penn State game, another Penn State game that James Franklin choked away. This was Jim getting suspended for the last 3 games to stretch run. Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio. I think this is another pin and pull for Blake. Let's take a look. Shout out to my uncle, the Iceman in Georgia. He said this game was horrible. This is probably one of my favorite games. It was a hard-fought game. Let's watch this. No, I think that was a zone read thing where the two linemen pinching. I'm probably not saying the right name for it. That wasn't a pin and pull. But I loved this game. It was physical. Michigan had to pound that Penn State defense on the ground. This was one of my favorite games. Okay, this one. Oh, look. While I was busy this afternoon, Michigan landed another top 200 2026 commit in defensive end Julian Walker from South Carolina. 6'6", 250 pounds. Michigan has 6 defensive line commits. 5 of them are ranked in the top 210 players overall. Insane. Okay, there's Charles Woodson. This says, so you get past Moore, Payne, Williams, Benny, and Guy, then you duck Hausman and Barham, and you get to deal with this. The Metcalf brothers are ready 24/7. Abdul Gaines, are you getting excited looking at this? Okay, here's another one. Let's see. 4-star edge Julian Walker is committed to Michigan. He tells me at Rivals, the 6'6", 250-pound edge from Columbia, South Carolina, chose the Wolverines over North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm beyond grateful for the opportunity to be a Michigan man. So these are some big kids. Julian Walker. Yep, same kid. So Sharon is replenishing the trenches. Oh, here's my favorite play. Here's Kenneth Walker chasing down Kaytron Allen. This play made Kenneth Walker one of my favorite Wolverines of all time. We have to watch this. I think I'm at the top here.
You have to give Kenneth Grant.
I'm sorry, Kenneth Grant. I said Kenneth Walker. This play made Kenneth Grant one of my favorite Wolverines of all time. I thought Kaytron Allen was gone on this play. But if Makari Page and the other kid and I think Junior Colson had slowed him down, Kenneth might not have caught him. But Will Johnson would have caught him. All right. Good luck in the pros, KG. Okay, this is a pin and pull here. This is Blake in the game-sealing touchdown, one of them against Washington. I love the pin and pull. Let's watch it one more time. Here we go. That's A.J. Barner running across. And then, yeah. This was after the Mikey Sainristil interception, which he came very close to returning. All right, we're almost at the top here. That's it. Those are all my bookmarks. So, yeah, Sharon and his staff are reloading the trenches, and the games are won in the trenches. Guys, I'm going to drop the link. I'll hang out for about another 20 minutes if you guys want to come up. If someone wants to come up and talk about this or anything else, this is very good for our program. The link is there. But let's see what Abdul Gaines has to say after seeing us reload our trenches on both sides. He says, the 2024 national championship that Ohio State won is absolutely valid. The Wolverines' loss will be avenged by OSU Thanksgiving weekend. All right. Dom says OSU's offense, especially the O-line, will be worse than last year. See you in Ann Arbor. No pressure on Ryan Day, right? Let's see. Abdul Gaines says, I'm excited for Ohio State putting the wood to the Wolverines Thanksgiving weekend. Okay, and then Moose says, Kenneth Grant was my favorite too. I think he'll have a better NFL career than Mason Grant. Yeah, Mason landed in Cleveland. So we'll see. Let's see. Dom, I'm going to give you a wrench. I mean, I don't really have any violent Buckeyes come over here. But I like to reward the people who come back with wrenches. Guys, the link is there if anyone wants to come up. But if no one wants to come up, then I'll just sign off and get ready for my last work day of this week. And I'll try to pull myself out of bed to go to the gym in the morning. All right, we got Dom. Dom, go blue. What say you?
Good, doctor. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. I apologize. I'm running a little bit late today.
No problem.
It's hard to keep up with the channel content and these outstanding recruit announcements like popping every other day. It's another 5-star to the lineup, and we're really stacking it. And I'm getting more and more excited for the season to come, and let the Buckeye fans tout. I have Mr. Jeremiah Smith's stats up here.
Okay.
I didn't get into the minutia of the game by game. Maybe I'll do that at some point where I'm just giving myself a little bit of volume here. Pardon me. There we go. Where I might get in and take a look at each game and like Jeremiah Smith had to play. Well, was the game like 2 touchdowns under control at that point by Ohio State and there was no pressure? Or were they big-time catches and pressure moments? I'd like to dig into that. But for the regular season last year, we had 3 100-yard games or more. 3 out of the 12. And Western Michigan, 5 catches for 119 yards. My 91-year-old mom could probably go out there and put up more yards than Jeremiah Smith against Western Michigan. Against Oregon, 9 catches for 100 yards. His longest one was 38 yards. So 40% of his production was on 1 pass. And then we had another 100-yard game against that powerhouse, Northwestern, where he had 4 catches and averaged 25 yards apiece. His longest was 68 yards, 70% of his production on 1 pass. Now let's get to the playoffs for this incredible superstar, stellar athlete who was absent against Michigan, 5 catches, 35 yards. Indiana, 3 catches, 34 yards. Penn State, 4 catches, 55 yards. Nebraska, 3 catches, 70 yards. But he's the best thing ever. He's the greatest wide receiver ever. Let's look at the playoffs. Tennessee, Ohio State won 42-17, had control of the entire game. 103 yards, 6 receptions. His average was 17, but 1 catch for 37 yards. Again, 40% of his production on 1 catch. Against Oregon, probably his best game of the year. 7 catches for 187 yards, his longest 45. So 25% of his production on 1 play. Got big game against Texas. Boy, he really stepped up. 1 catch, 3 yards. Again, 1 catch against Texas for 3 yards. And then the title game against Notre Dame, 5 catches for 88 yards, with one of them being for 56 yards, roughly, again, 60% of the production on 1 play. So tell me, how special is Jeremiah Smith? Or is everybody thinking Jeremiah Smith special because you have Herbie, Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, you got Jerry DiNardo over on Big Ten Network, you got Josh Perry, another Buckeye on NBC. Jeremiah Smith is special. He's an all-star. And now he's out there telling he's gonna beat Michigan. Go look at the facts.
Yeah, and you know, for all wide receivers, that's all predicated on the ball getting out to him. So if our defense is getting after his quarterback, he might not be very effective. He might not get touches.
Just somebody said, I think it was on Johnny's channel, or it might have been Maze's. You know, keep taking these 5-star wide receivers. We'll keep filling our trenches up, and they could watch the receivers run routes while their quarterback gets sacked. I mean, So,
all right, I'm gonna read this from our resident Buckeye here, who used to be one of us, which is kind of funny. He says, I think he means Jeremiah because he said JJ. I think Jeremiah is the best wide receiver Ohio State has put on the field. How many yards did the best wide receiver? He's going to do that. I knew it. He said, how many yards did the best wide receiver on the Wolverines gain against Tennessee in the playoff? 0, because he was too busy preparing for a crap bowl game.
I don't care about the bowl game, Abdul. The only thing that matters to me, we could go 1-11 every year, and the only thing that matters to me is beating Ohio State. And that 13-10 was an early Christmas present for me, and it's been paying dividends all year. You guys could put it over here, put it over there, put it under the table, but it burns you guys to the core to win your national title, lose to Michigan, and finish 4th in the Big Ten. Yay.
All right, we got Marmar back here. Yeah, I think on some level for them, they have to be a little bit bitter about that. That they won the big one, but they didn't win the one that counted the most.
I don't know what we used to use back in the day, baby powder, whatever, used to get that chafing at practice from wearing the pants and the pads. They just need to get some good chafing liniment to settle that down their backside, those poor things. Anyway, Doc, I promised you I wouldn't be long-winded. Thank you for having me. I'm going to check out. Let Marmar step in here.
Nah, Dom, I'm just getting off work. I was just coming up here, let you know I'm about to get home in about 20 minutes. So I don't know how long you was on. We had a long day today, so I just want to shout out to my Go Blue family. What's up, Ann Ward? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I know you. Hey man, this recruiting is on fire. You know what I'm saying? We landed all 4 of them guys that were in that picture they took over the ONE weekend during Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. So
what's your thoughts?
I think Michigan football's identity is being physical on both sides of the line, and
you could do.
Yeah, and I think that's our identity, and that's going to make the program successful for years to come.
Even in this era of college football, you can still dominate the trenches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what they do in the NFL, basically. They dominate the trenches. You see what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. They dominated the trenches. Kansas City couldn't do nothing. So
No, they couldn't.
if you're going to produce kids, you better have them NFL ready, because a lot of people are, start picking for your school. Yeah. So yeah, all I'm saying is that you can still build a national championship caliber team in this era of college football, especially with NIL. And, now the collectors with money, you can directly play players. So, but Michigan seems like they got it together, man. Sean McGee is an ace. They better pay that man.
That last part, say it again.
They better pay him.
You talking about more? Or you talking about
Sean McGee is an ace.
Okay.
Sean McGee, yeah, our general manager. He doing his thing.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think yeah. I mean, it's football. I mean, no matter how many, hit my mic there. No matter how many skill position players you have, it's those guys in the interior that win you the championships. Let's see. Okay, so Abdul Gaines, there was a little bit of trash talk here about Ohio State's Natty before you came. He says, did you hoist a trophy in 2024? Of course you didn't. And then AJ says, you acting like
hold on. Go back to hey, Amar, go back to that last comment. Okay. But did you beat the defending national champions that had the championship trophy though? No, we came into your house and showed you who was the real champion. You just got your little championship. It don't matter. We the real champion. You didn't beat the last champs though. Let's go.
Okay. AJ says, you act like Michigan just didn't win in 2023. LOL. He says Michigan 15-0 2023 champs. Then Jason Istone, thank you for being here, Jason. He says a 2-loss Natty makes the trophy a little less shiny for sure. And then Jason says hashtag the trenches. Yeah. Okay. Well, Marmar, yeah. I do you have any thoughts? I know you're coming in at the end here. Yeah. Do you have?
I think my thought is, you see Sharon Moore's cooking, man. He in the kitchen cooking, so it's nothing, there's nothing else to say. Let him do his thing and keep building the class up. If we get everybody on July 5th, then we'll be the #1 recruiting class in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, #1. With however 24/7 and on 3 do their rankings, because they 2 different people. So so we'll see what what's it about, because they tried to make Carter Meadows a 4-star, but he a 5-star. He's been recruited as a 5-star. Every other school was recruiting him as a 5-star, but when we get him, he's a 4-star. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. So but that's my final thought. Just wait till see if we get some fireworks in the next couple of days.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if you ever could do. I don't know if you ever do emergency shows or anything about recruiting breaking. Whenever we get a player, I think you should though.
Okay.
Put your take on it.
Okay. Yeah. We'll talk offline.
Okay. Yep. All right. Go Blue.
All right. Thanks for sending me that Juan Castillo article, by the way. Okay, he's gone. All right. Dom says the last time OSU beat a higher ranked Michigan team in the game was back in 1994. And before I get to Abdul's comment here, which might be the last, Marmar mentioned Michigan having the first or second recruiting class. I can't remember the last time that's happened. Michigan having that that higher recruiting class. Lloyd Carr certainly never got one of those, and of course Jim had to. Jim was pre-NIL, so he didn't have that dimension to his recruiting strategy. Abdul Gain, okay, here we go. Abdul Gain says, I don't remember seeing the Wolverines on the big stage at the end of last season. I remember seeing JJ, Trevion, Judkins, Will, and the rest of the fellas in scarlet and gray stunting on that stick. Abdul Gaines doesn't back down for anyone. We have another Abdul here. How about that? And I can't tell. I guess he's Ohio State. He says, Dom, not sure, not true. 2018 Michigan had a higher seed. And Dom says, facts eliminate the BS. And Dom says, I can't recall Michigan ever having a number one recruiting class. Yeah, same here. Yeah. I remember that was when Lloyd was coach. And I was a grad student in Ann Arbor during Lloyd's last six years. That was always a talk about, yeah, we got this recruiting class. Lloyd got good recruiting classes, but he couldn't get into the BCS title game. So, but he was never, I don't think Lloyd was ever top 5. He was top 10, but he wasn't top 5. Okay, after Dom finds that, I'm gonna wind things down. But Abdul, let's see. Before while we wait for that, let's get another word from. Let's play that Lou Holtz drop. I love that Lou Holtz drop. Well, let's play another Lou Holtz drop.
Tell Ohio State this. You take his message to Ohio State. You tell them they better bring their lunch because it's going to be a full damn day's work.
Hey, I love that. Hey, hope you heard that, AJ.
Okay, we got Keegan backstage. Keegan, we'll go a few more minutes. What's going on, Keegan?
Hey, man. Yeah, thanks for the last second ad here. I don't know. I think Jeremiah Smith needs to just keep his head down and work. And like, he is a beast. I think he's the best receiver in college football. But like, it just seems like out of place to make that statement. I appreciate the confidence but like, he doesn't have anything to back it up because he got like under 50 yards against Michigan. And like, I get that they want to beat Michigan really bad. And the fan base is like, well, it didn't matter. The rivalry game doesn't matter because we won the Natty. But like, it's just crazy. It's crazy talking. And receiver is a dependent position. It's dependent on outcomes that he can't control. So it's not like basketball or a quarterback or like a middle linebacker that's like a star. It's not the same thing. Like he can't project those outcomes other than just like believing in himself and believing in the team. And so I mean I respect that, but the whole thing is just out of place and it's out of touch with we've seen.
Keegan, can you say that last part again? You started breaking up. Started working.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot to do about nothing. Like I don't think that I mean if they're rolling in the season and they're doing well and they've got proven quarterback play, they've got proven offensive line play, their defense is doing good. Like he can make that comment at that time, but this just seems really premature and I think to be honest, I think he's showing his age a little bit on that comment.
Okay. Well, we know what it's like to lose to a team for consecutive years. So, but he's going into his second year. But I think that probably shows the bad taste they have in their mouth after losing that last game. When they were supposed to blow our doors off.
Yeah. It was like 21.5, and we beat him 13-10, and he gets under 50 yards. So it's like, what are we even doing here?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have anything else, Keegan? Thank you for coming up.
That's it. I appreciate you taking my call.
Okay. I'll talk to you next time. All right. You know, Abdul, just for you, we're gonna get that Lou Holtz. We're gonna let Lou Holtz love on you one more time, just for you.
Tell Ohio State this. You take his message to Ohio State. You tell them they better bring their lunch because it's going to be a full damn day's work.
I love that. Hey, hope you heard that, AJ.
All right, everybody, I gotta go. But I'll let Abdul Gaines get his last 2 cents in. He says, Jeremiah is absolutely not out of pocket. He is a national champion. Jeremiah will go ham on the Wolverines Thanksgiving weekend. Well, Abdul, as we just described, that's all predicated upon his quarterback having time to throw. If our Baltimore Ravens defense is getting in that backfield and getting after him, then Jeremiah won't have a good day. But we shall see. We shall see. They're by that time, you know, the injury bug will hit some players, and we'll see. All right, everybody, I have to go. Guys, I wrote a sports related book. This is it. It's a story about what sports teach you about life. It's a lot of the same lessons the Wolverines and the Buckeye players are learning right now. For my YouTube subs, I'm selling the hardcover for $25 and the paperback for $22. On Amazon, this is going for $35, and the paperback is going for $27. If you're interested in a copy, that's a discounted price. Just use one of those methods in the ticker. But make sure you tell me also who to send it to, so I know who to send it. Signed copies. I'm selling signed copies. You can't get that on Amazon. This guy never stops. He says, how much work did Notre Dame do the last 2 times they faced Ohio State? All I saw was Notre Dame. All I saw Notre Dame do was fashion 2 L's. Okay. Abdul, we're going to give you the last word. Everybody, this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. Please like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to Bo Lytle. If you see fit, please like, share, and subscribe. Guys, I will talk to you the next time. Go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Good job, Wolverines, out there on the recruiting trail, continuing to fill and fortify the trenches.